Alright, season 2 of Printing with Pat. It's gonna be a story. So, let's get to it. Season 2, Printing with Pat. Hey everyone, it's Patrick from Magnetic Nerd Federation, and today we finally get to bring to you Stormbreaker. This was one of those projects that it seems like it hit a problem at every corner. We initially conceived it in January. We're going to jump on the hype train for the Avengers Endgame movie, but I had issues with my 3D printer, I had issues with my airbrush, I had issues finding materials. It was a real treat. So for now, I can finally show you how we made it. The file for this came off the Thingiverse. Of course, I'll be linking that below so you all can get to it. And then this had to be scaled up quite a bit. And then because I scaled it up, I had to slice the axe head and the hammer part. Each of those got sliced in half so it could fit on my smaller print bed. I got the file to the size I wanted it to be, and everything was sliced up and fit on the print bed nice. I sent the printer off to work. And this, problem number 1. My printer, apparently there was either a draft I didn't know about or there was some unwanted vibration, but I actually had to print the axe head more than once because it was actually starting to bow on the print bed, and when you try and put two pieces together, that curve is not ideal. Once the printer was done doing its thing, the pieces had to be glued back together. But because I had to slice them in half, the axe head and the hammer head both had an unnecessary seam that had to be filled. And the product I like to use to fill my seams is a spot putty. You see this a lot in the 3D printing world. It's just an automotive product. I mean, you would use it like any other caulk or putty. You rub it over the seams, then you sand it smooth, and if you did it right, you don't see a seam line anymore. So we were looking at the footage and editing this video, and we found out a small little problem. Well, I did not use spot putty. I actually used Tamiya putty. It's just a different product. The same rules apply. Fill it, sand it, good to go. And now, back to the video. Next up is the part of the whole process that every 3D printing enthusiast knows and loves. Sanding, priming, and then when you think you're done sanding and priming, you do it a few more times. With all the wonderful sanding and priming finished, it was now time to glue the axe head together. And now it's time for problem number 2. I decided to up the difficulty scale for myself and not simply 3D print a handle, but I wanted to make a handle. Because, you know, why not? I like to torture myself. To construct the handle, I actually drilled a hole in the base of the axe head, put a 12-inch wooden dowel into that, and then over that, I cut a piece of PVC pipe and glued those together. I filled the PVC pipe with resin, and that gave a nice sturdy base for what would become the handle. For the handle, we used foam clay, It's a really cool product. It's actually very good at getting organic shapes because you can mold it and shape it how you want. So we thought it'd be a very good product to use to get that tree branch look. As of filming, our channel is not sponsored. All the products that we use, nobody's paying us to use them. Once all the details of the tree branches and the vines were sculpted in, we let it dry, then coated it in plasti dip. I got about 2 coats. And once the plasti dip dried, it was on to painting. With the painting process beginning, problem number 3 arose. The handle really wasn't too big of a deal. It was your simple brown acrylic paints. No issue there. The axe head, however, yes, the lovely axe head. This was the challenge. We all know that the color is a nice shiny silver, so to do so, we decided to use All-Clad, and there is really no better paint out there than All-Clad for giving your models, your props, whatever, a metallic sheen. You can brush it on, but the best way to apply All-Clad is through an airbrush, and that is where we hit a wall. Problem was, I'm a noob when it comes to airbrushing, but the other part is our airbrush gun has seen some shit. So as the struggle became really real for me, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go to the master. My wife is an amazing painter. She uses an airbrush every day for work. She uses an airbrush on stuff that she's done. I'm going to turn this over to someone who knows a lot more about painting than I do. I was hoping my wife's experience in the painting realm would help iron out some of the issues that I was having, but even she struggled. So we decided to take a step back, rethink the process a little bit. We actually changed up the paints we used. We actually went to acrylic airbrush colors instead and used the All-Clad more of like a base, and then we built layers of these acrylic paints on top of that, and we finally got a finished product that we were both happy with. For the finishing touches on the paint job, we used some acrylic washes. It really helped pull out all the little nooks and crannies, all the little weathering details and stuff that you see. After weathering, we went back and added some silver acrylic paint for more highlights. Once that paint dried, we put on a couple coats of acrylic clear coat, and we were finally done. Project was a really good example of why it is important to just stick with it. There were so many times I wanted to just trash this whole thing, just scrap the whole project and move on. But I decided to stick with it. Yes, I did time away from it, work on a couple other things, but once I came back, I kind of had a renewed vigor for it and finally was able to push through that wall and now we have one amazing looking prop. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you liked it. The best way that you can help our channel grow and succeed is by liking and subscribing. Hit that little notification bell, and I will see you guys next time. We used foam clay. Ow. The file for... Well, hello Merlin, how are you? Stopping by?